All right, you guys asked for it. A toolbox tour. Now, I'm just gonna say right off the bat, I hate this toolbox. So I went out and I bought the toolbox. Okay, so I gotta clear up a few things. A little while ago, I went to the Craftsman relaunch, which was fantastic. And you guys know that we've been reviewing some Milwaukee tools for a long time. If you go to our earlier videos, I basically grabbed a bunch of tools in my toolbox and reviewed them. They're buried way in the past when we first started 3 years ago. But some of you guys think that we are directly sponsored by Milwaukee. We are not. When Milwaukee releases new tools, they send us samples, we give our opinion, and we talk about it. We use them for giveaways, and just try to educate you guys on what's new and available out there. When Milwaukee first reached out to me a year and a half ago and said, is there anything we can do for you? I said, I need a toolbox. My toolbox is a piece of junk. It's old. We'll get into that in a minute. I just want to keep going. Hold on. I said I need a toolbox. My toolbox is in rough shape. And I said, well, we've got this model, which is 48, 22, 85, 10. But we're getting a second gen out, so sit tight for that. I've been asking them for the last year and a half, when's that model coming out? When's the model coming out? Or can I pick it up in the States? We're about 40 minutes from the border. Can I grab one? And it's constantly no. So then we went to the Milwaukee NPS 18, and I think they have Gen 3 out there already. And I said, great, fantastic. It's a little bit nicer than the Gen 2. I think the quality overall is about the same. It's the same thickness of steel. It's the same weight. A couple neat little features. Nice. It looks a little bit more modern, a little bit bigger maybe. So that'll hold out until that one's available. But there's some issues with tariffs and whatever else. I don't really know what's going on. I know that any steel that's coming in is about 25% more than it was a year ago, which really sucks. So I don't think we're even gonna have I think they skipped Gen 2 altogether. I don't even know when Gen 3 is gonna be available. Kind of embarrassing to work out of a toolbox that just, as I'm working, the bearings are actually falling out of the rollers. They're just, this box is done. So I said, can I have a toolbox? And they said, yeah. So they sent me that one, which is great. It was nice. I said, the top one too, right? And they're like, no, you get the bottom one. Don't know what's going on there, but I'm okay buying it because I know it is quality. There's cheaper boxes out there, but you get what you pay for. The Husky box, I was right beside the Home Depot. It's bigger. It has 6 casters on it, and it weighs about 2/3 of the weight of that one. And basically, when you're buying steel, the heavier it is, the better quality it is. So I'll show you guys why I bought this box. This is the first gen. Lots of reviews on this one already, so I won't get into it too deep. But I'll let you guys know why I like that box and why I have no issue paying for that box myself. And then this one, I don't know, this one will probably go to the wreck and go to the scrapyard. Might throw it in the trailer just for when we go traveling, throw my used tools in there. My older stuff, I don't know if I can deal with it even. I'm a pretty patient guy, probably deal with it. But as for daily, I need a new box. So let's get into it. So this bottom box, when you get it, some assembly is required. Let me get rid of that for a sec. But I wanted to show you guys this. This is some nice thick, is that quarter? Might even be 1/4 inch angle iron all the way around the outside and where it holds the casters in place. Casters are nice and big, greasable pivots, which is amazing. You want to Loctite these in when you put it together, just because, trust me. And then I really like this on-off when you go to lock your box. It's hard to do with your fingers. Even I can't do that. But rather than having to flick under the bottom of it with your toe, you can just step on the off, and that works great. Other than that, it comes with nice mats. All right, if you're an apprentice and you're starting out and you're deciding what kind of box should I get, my advice is don't go and finance a box. Spend some more money on some quality tools first. Tools will hold their value, the box really won't. Okay, so if you see it right off the bat, this one will actually have less space in it than my old box. And that's okay, because we did a review on those benches, and never mind the Holly stuff, it was late night last night, but those store all my stuff that I never had to keep in my box before. This is actually my second toolbox. The first one I bought was a Craftsman. That one got damaged in the old shop that I worked at. So the shop bought me a new one, but they didn't really give me any choices because at the time our parts guy had some sneaky stuff going on with the Ultra Pro guy, the Napa guy, and this is what we ended up with. I've hated this box since the day I got it. My Craftsman actually had more drawers, and my punches were always in this drawer, and the muscle memory's crazy. Took me a good 2 years to not grab this drawer when I needed my punches. This Ultra Pro, I would think, is your amateur hour toolbox for the price of a medium toolbox. Stay away from Ultra Pro. Whereas this Milwaukee is heavier gauge steel. This is your high-end medium toolbox, I would say. Definitely not a Mac, definitely not a Snap-on or a Matco toolbox, but it feels good. If you grab the drawer on any side, the widest drawer, you want to make sure that the drawer is open all the way, that it feels good. The soft close is nice. They've got 100-pound drawers. The bottom one there is 200 pounds. So if you're short, you can climb right in it and stand in the box, and it still works, which is fantastic. Also for Stefan, who's short, but now my box is going to be way shorter than what he is. So I might have to put my sockets in this one, but I got to figure this out because my deeps won't fit in there. While it's still clean, before you get any dirt or anything in it, PL glue the front of these down, because even with the soft close, it's going to help much better, but these always end up sliding back. See that? I just silicone the schnot out of them and they don't stick anymore. But what also works, if you're broke and you buy an old box and doesn't have anything, carpet. Some old carpet, nice and stiff. It's a lot thicker, so you lose a little bit of space. But in my first box, I actually had carpet as my drawer liners, and that worked pretty good. I haven't closed that lid, and I've maybe closed that 3 times in the last 15 years that I've owned it. I've got my screwdrivers in the top. I've got my ratcheting wrenches, metric on one side, imperial on the other. But in that box, I'm gonna put the ratcheting and the non-ratcheting wrenches together in the same box. I've got my normal wrenches from Milwaukee, and again, I've got my metric and my standard. I'm gonna put them in the same drawer. Then I got my junk drawer. These drawers, this is basically all the wrenches that I don't care about. A lot of them are shaved, a lot of them are cut, and whatever I need them to do. There was one really cool one. Stuff like this, where you're getting in tight spots, where you just take a shitty wrench and then you weld a socket to it, and you do what you gotta do to get it done. It's got my curved wrenches on it. These are cheapies from Princess Auto, and they're not meant to refund, but this angle is just nice, especially on injection pumps and injection lines and stuff like that, where you gotta get into a weird spot. So I hope Craftsman or Milwaukee ends up making a set with just a funny angle on it. The only issue is that I think this is like, I forget what degree this is. I want to say it's 15 degrees, and I think that's like a 45, but they shouldn't have done that, because they should have done this at like a 50 or a 40, because this angle is just 3 of these. So if you can't get on it with this one, you can't get on it with this one sometimes too, because it's just the way the flat points stop. But that's because engineers don't ask mechanics what they're doing. Curved wrenches like this, I really love these. These are just the special ones that you need sometimes. This was my air tool drawer, but a lot of the air tools are now gone. So basically, this drawer just ended up being like a junk drawer. The only thing I have left is this die grinder and my guns for tires. I keep the hammer just in case, and basically this thing's garbage. If you want this, you can have this. But that's that. I keep all my pliers. I don't know what that's doing in there. Those are all my punches and files. And then I have random stuff. I had a couple speed handles. A lot of the stuff that was in this drawer, because it wasn't that important, ended up going into those workbenches. Going farther down, I've got a specialty socket set. I've got my torque wrenches. And then I got my puller set, which is long gone. I need to get a new one of those. And then some Allen sockets. And this had my painting stuff in there, but that's all gone. I had some gloves, which are still in good shape. Vaseline for O-rings and stuff, it's handy for that. I had my wiring stuff in here, but that all went in a drawer. Some more Vaseline, because you really can't get enough Vaseline. This thing's kind of cool, helps you find shapes, like a right angle. And then I had some Allen sockets. Originally I had these up on the top, and then I put them down below here. My vice grips, and some reamers, small reamers, and some more Allen wrenches. This thing I will not be putting back on again, because all it does is accumulate garbage, and that's stupid. So we'll just move over some stuff and then go from there. So yeah, I'm getting less excited about my new toolbox now. I'm actually hearing myself think about how much work it's going to take to move everything over. So here we go. So this is my month later. I watched the unboxing and my initial opinions on it. Now this is me having worked out of this box for about a month now, and there's a few things that you have to realize about me. I've been wrenching for about 20 years, and there's muscle memory, and there's certain ways you like things. I am a diesel mechanic that works on 10, 15, 20-year-old diesels that are dirty, covered in grease, and my hands and that are usually dirty. You also need to understand that I'm 6'4", close to 6'5" tall, and that has another big impact on the box that you choose to work out of. With my hands being dirty and the box being powder coated, it doesn't clean that well. If it was smooth like the drawer handles are, they would clean up very nicely, very quickly. And this won't be an issue if you're in a dealership or you don't work on diesels. Maybe like a motorcycle shop, that's not an issue, but this is an issue of mine. I love this top work area for my laptop. It's my right height. I can quickly go on, do what I need to do. It's nice for my scanner. It's got the outlets here to plug into, but that takes away from where I like to keep my sockets. I like that because my sockets are eye level with me. I could see the numbers because every socket will have the size on the side of it. I picked these plastic rails that had these little pegs that go in a rail that have holes in it, and you can just space these apart and put your sockets in there. So that leaves me with my big drawer being the only place that I can keep my sockets. Now they're not riveted down yet because I'm not sure if this is what I want to do. The drawer is deep enough to hold even my half-inch chrome deep sockets, not tall enough to keep my impact sockets from hitting the edge when I go down. So I have to lay these sockets down. Now, sockets are funny. When I bought my 700-piece socket set from Craftsman 20 years ago, it came with every single socket that I could possibly ever want or need. Now, I've never used an 11 32nd socket. I've never used a 9mm socket, but I'm that kind of guy that I want every socket and in an order, smallest to biggest, whatever. If I did it again, I'd almost try to organize my sockets without having the ones that I don't use. I would get rid of my 9mm and replace it with a 10mm, so I have two 10mm side by side. This drawer though doesn't allow me to see any of my sizes unless they're laying down flat. and that takes up a lot of space, and it's also annoying because you need the space in between here to actually pull the socket off the holder and pull it out. These socket rails, we got these off Amazon. We'll put the link on there, and I thought they'd be nice, other than these things keep sliding. So when you pull your socket out, you have to kind of slide them back to kind of in the middle to get your socket back on again. To me, that's a waste of time. I really just want to go grab socket, and then without looking, just even nails and a block of wood. This is 20 years old. This is what I did in my dad's garage when I had some time. Now, there's different socket organizers, and definitely comment down below as to which ones are your favorite. Now, I started organizing my sockets this way, and I already bought these holders even before I had the toolbox because I wanted to try them out. Not a great situation, but if you're starting out, Milwaukee's already thinking of socket organization, and when you buy the socket set, it actually pulls out and fits in the drawer itself. So they currently have these in 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2 inch sizes, but they're constantly expanding their inventory. Their tools are actually getting stronger as well, and they've got impact 1/4 inch drive sockets already as well, because now your impact, your little 1/4 inch stubby is going to snap all of your chrome sockets. So socket organization might not be as big of a deal to you as it is for me, just because I'm transitioning from a way that I've always done it to something different again. So just keep that in mind. So this box is great if you don't work out of specifically just the box. Now, we bought these workbenches and a lot of tools, and my painting stuff that I only use occasionally gets put in there, so I can focus my main box for just my wrenches and my ratchets and my pliers and that. I wish it was a little bit wider. It's about 3 inches short of having my underhood light clamp on the top, which would really illuminate the whole thing. Also, in this top, they have a pegboard to hang stuff off of. By the time I put my laptop and my scanner on there, there's really nothing I can do with the pegboard. I put my pry bars and stuff there, but then I have a big chance of wrecking my the stuff that I like to keep on the top too. They have a drawer here for your impacts and your sockets, which is completely useless to me because I'm tall. I grab my ratchets and my impacts constantly. I want it at a height level, at where I can grab it easy, even like a magnet or something where I can just stick it to the side and grab it when I need it. Close to the batteries. I don't want to be bending over, and I don't want to be pulling a drawer open all the time either. They also have this other drawer with basically this is where they call it like a laptop holder, which eliminates 4 drawers or 3 drawers right away, and 4 drawers because you won't be able to get to anything underneath. Basically, I don't see any practical use for this. You can store all your butt connectors and whatever else underneath here, like wiring or whatever, but that's rarely used, and I would stick that in a drawer you don't see underneath anyway. So just a couple design flaws in my opinion, or some things that I think that is silly. You might not think that, because if you start out with this box, you might think it's the greatest thing ever. As for me, we'll be working out of this box just because that one's junk. Maybe we'll try a couple other more boxes. Definitely comment down below as to what your toolboxes are your favorite. I understand there's much better quality out there when you start getting into Snap-ons and Macs, but the price points definitely reflect that as well. I've never felt the need to own a toolbox that is worth more than my car or my truck, and I definitely highly stress, don't buy a box that you have to put payments on. If you have that money, absolutely go out and buy a box that expensive, but the tools that are in the box are much more important than the box itself. Just like if you have a construction company, the tools that are in your truck are way more important than the truck that just gets you to the job site and back. So definitely comment down below. Thanks for watching. Thanks Milwaukee for the bottom box. And yeah, here we go.